at efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find the special. That's 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct. A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Calvin Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live, and the Ron Paul interview I did was so powerful. You know, normally I don't get up here and say, oh my gosh, it's the best one ever, or oh my gosh, we're going to wait till the end of the show to air this. I mean, this is a powerful interview. It's got me on the edge of my seat right now, running around like a Tasmanian devil with its head cut off. Yeah, that's pretty wild, isn't it? During the breaks here, but we're getting the MP3 of it done, of the video and audio interview. I'm getting it to my writers right now. I was just going to air it for the writers and everybody to hear it the first time, but then they always miss notes and stuff and then have to wait to get an article out. So that's another reason I've decided to air it in the last 30 minutes of the show today, the interview we did just about an hour and a half ago, because it is so powerful, as I just said. That way, my writers can have their articles ready. We can air the interview. Then the articles go live with the MP3 of the audio. And so, I mean, believe me, this has got the strategy to win in Iowa. Ron Paul says we can win. It's true. He talks about the hoax of the media imploding, saying he can't win. He talks about dirty tricks boomeranging on them. He talks about Iran. He talks about all of it. But he says that the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, establishes martial law in America. We know that does. But the fact that he's talking about it, that puts a lot of light on it. And he said it should be the #1 story in America right now. He's right. Man, talking to Ron Paul is like talking to a 76-year-old Alex Jones. It's like when Bruce Fein was on. It's like talking to myself or something. He said when it's him and Ron Paul, it's like a Vulcan mind meld. They're just like on the same page. It's freedom. It's common sense. It's right there. Ron Paul is just a constitutionalist. He's an American. He's what the world used to love. And now this whore, New World Order, devilish, sold out, den of vipers, globalist, Decepticon media sits there and says he's the weirdo. He's the bad guy. Well, you hadn't read Thomas Jefferson. You hadn't read George Washington. You don't know Thomas Paine or Patrick Henry. You don't know what it is to be an American. I'm sick of people attacking real Americans. I'm tired of the Homeland Security and state police training manuals that read like a comic book. If you'd have given somebody 30 years ago these training manuals, they would have laughed at you. 5 years ago, people couldn't believe them. where the founding fathers are bad and gun owners are bad and private property and due process and sovereignty is bad. All the things that are good, they say are bad. All the things that are common sense, they say are bad. And they just try to sell it with this trendy population that dresses and talks like whatever the media says. The mainstream media is an alien, plastic, oid, manufactured, counterfeit garbage. That's why it doesn't fill you up. It's why it doesn't satisfy the soul. It's why you're so unhappy. And people then burrow deeper into the system, thinking it's going to make them happy. Only the challenge of liberty, the animating contest of liberty, that's the only thing that's going to fulfill you. Only facing danger. That is the only thing that's going to fulfill you. Only helping the average person and being aware and focused and wise is going to fulfill you. No amount of liquor, no amount of sex, no amount of entertainment is going to fulfill you. Life is about struggle. And there's an old saying, pain is weakness leaving the body, but not just physical pain. Having people make fun of you, having people laugh at you, that may hurt some people, but over time you will learn to enjoy it, and not in a masochistic way. You will learn to enjoy it in a sad way, like it has to be done and too bad for these poor people that are attacking you. But the fact that they're attacking you means you're getting to them, so there's enjoyment in, it's not enjoyable to lance a boil on your dog. It's kind of gross to stick the needle in and watch the pus pour out. I had an old dog I had to do that a few times for, and the vet I worked for it taught me how to do it. But there was still, at a certain level, a satisfied feeling after you'd done it, after you put alcohol on it and cleaned it. You didn't like it. You didn't like looking at it. You didn't like having to deal with it. But at a spiritual level, you were helping that animal. You were lancing the boil. It's the same thing doctors get. When people that aren't used to it see chopped open bodies, little kids' faces blown off, they get freaked out. Doctors are focused, helping them, trying to save them. And so it actually becomes just a blur, and they can focus and do things that are horrible, but to the eyes and to the nose and to the psyche. But it's good in the final equation because you're helping someone. All right, I'm starting to preach here, and I've just got so much news I want to get to. Here's what I want to do. I want to open the phones up about all the things happening in the world, the Iranians threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz, which is a provocation. They're looking for the middle way. They're allowing the West to bomb them, blow stuff up, destabilize them, put sanctions on them to shut them down. China has said they'll come to their aid. China has said prepare for war with the United States. That's back in the news. Their president has said that, not just some general, because it's cutting off their oil, but that's a double game. They'll probably abandon them in the final equation. Iran thinks that it can just threaten to block the strait or do it if the covert bombings continue, and the West is just going to hype that up. The West may even attack them because they're not giving the spy plane back. If Iran fires back when the West bombs them in a major air assault, it will be called terrorism to fire back. Again, it's bad when other governments torture, good when ours does it. It's all part of this mentally ill, soft-brained craziness of all the good old boys. I mean, I see it in every movie I watch now that's an action film. I watched X-Men First Class on the treadmill. Mindless, join the military brainwashing, targeting young people, all sorts of programming in it. And in it, the good guys torture the woman to get the answers, and it's good that they torture her and they get the answers. And it's in every movie, torture gets results. No, it doesn't. It gets fake confessions. And if you've got a government torturing people, look out. The Nazis knew to hide it. Only in America would they come out and admit they're doing it. You get rid of those protections, it's all gone. Why do they want tyranny? People say, well, I'm a good person. I'm a good person. I don't do anything wrong. Well, why do they want to come after me? They're bad. They want you to be their slave. Don't you get, it's called slavery. It's called tyranny. The globalists at the top want to dominate everything because they like to be in control. I saw an article in Reuters earlier. In fact, let me just pull it up right here. Squeezed Britons avoid hotel and car trips. There's such massive taxes on cars, tracker chips, taxes, gas taxes, VAT, hotels, that they're just avoiding hotel and car trips. And they say because they're angry about all of it. No, it's because they're being bankrupted. And the media will act like, oh, how do we fix this? And they'll have some government program where they cut some little small tax to act like they want to incentivize it. You think the TSA is upset we lose $40 billion a year in tourism? You think the TSA is upset that tourism's shutting down in this country? They love it. It's called a post-industrial world. They want to get rid of all the middle-class wealth. They want to get rid of even the higher-level Fortune 500 to where there's only the Fortune 100. They're waging war against the free market and wealth because wealth makes you free and uppity. You know, I've got articles here, and I'm looking for the clip because I heard it on 590 radio this morning, the speech of the San Antonio bishop. And I've got the letter here. Archdiocese of San Antonio, all 33 Roman Catholic bishops released on Monday a strongly worded letter to immigrants saying illegal immigrants deserve to be Americans and calling for denunciation of the forces which oppress them. Now, this is sedition within the country. And I actually heard the speech of the San Antonio bishop saying that Catholics that didn't support open borders and total amnesty were bad Catholics. And they got some of that language in the letter. And saying legalize everyone. There's no such thing as an immigrant. That is, or a migrant. That is, and that Jesus was a migrant. And that you've got to do, it's pure Ford Foundation, liberation theology. Let me explain to folks how the real world works here. I've walked into gas stations here and stores, and I've had Hispanic people behind the counter say, Alex, I've always liked your show, but you're supporting what Arizona's doing. They're going to arrest all the Hispanics in America, and they hate us and all this stuff. And I look at them and I say, that may be the case with some black people or white people, but a very small percentage. I look at them and I say, do you understand that the people looting the banks, going after our guns, private property, do you understand that they are for open borders? Do you understand the UN is? Do you understand the UN murders people all over the world? You understand the UN is pushing with taxpayer money to inoculate every Hispanic child in Mexico, starting with girls? Do you know it's been linked to cancer and infertility? And they go, oh, and I go, yeah. The people patting you on the head and telling you that they care about you and that they want to take good care of you and that, oh my gosh, America's evil, let's have open borders. They're not telling you about the Gardasil shot, are they? You know about that? And they're like, yeah, I actually did hear about people dying from that. Yeah, that's right. Oh, but you're not going to hear LULAC or La Raza, which means the race. Let me go one further. Can I have an organization called the white race? Why can you have an organization called the race? Oh, I know, because you're downtrodden. Listen, I don't care what color you are. But let me ask you this next question. This is, and the people backing up behind me. Let me ask you this next question, because you said that kind of accusatorily. Okay? Let me ask you another question here. You know the illegal aliens. Oh, I know you don't like that term, but that's what it's called in Mexico if I go down there, who has some of the most draconian immigration laws. And they start laughing. Well, that's true, yeah. Oh, yeah, you know about that. Good. Well, let's go one further. It's hypocritical, but let's go even further. Let's expand on that. You know how 90+% of these illegals end up voting illegally. And once they become citizens, you know, because they think the Democratic Party's their friend. And by then it's like, hey, come on, buddy. I'm like, hold on. I'm sorry. Or go ahead and start paying here, but I'm going to talk to him. You know, by then I'm usually being interrupted. I mean, I've probably done this 50 times with just on the streets, in malls, in Los Angeles, you name it. Let me go one even further for you. Okay, let me expand on this for you. How did 90+% of them vote? Hardcore liberal Democratic. total gun ban, total private property ban. Now, I am 100% just on that issue have to be against the giant Latin American surge into this country because of the minds and the hearts the big banks have taught for decades in Latin America. And through the Ford Foundation with billions of dollars a year on record. Billions a year. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, all of it. But Ford Foundation alone, billions a year. They got something like $50 billion in their foundation.